This conference will now be recorded.
Hotep everyone. Welcome to our session on what's called the perihelion. The perihelion is a day of when Geb the Earth, which I'll show you here, when Geb the Earth is closest to Aten Ra, the sun. So if we look, for example, at this image here, okay, you'll see that the Earth here, this bluish grayish ball, orbits around Aten Ra. So Geb is the Earth, Aten Ra is the sun. And in January, early January, every year, you see the distance between Geb the Earth and Aten Ra the sun is the shortest line. From the center of the Earth to the center of the Aten Ra, from Geb to Aten is the shortest distance. And as we go around the months, this line gets longer and longer, meaning the distance between the two bodies is ever greater. And then right around July, it's the maximal distance between Geb, the Earth, and Aten Ra, the Sun. And then as July gets shorter and shorter in reverse order. And so we go year after year after year. So almost every year, it's around January 3rd or 4th that we have what's called the perihelion, the approach of the Geb, Earth, to the Aten Ra as closest. And in our Golden Beetle system, this day marks the time of the initiation school system, what we call the Sabah in Ma'at. Sabah in Ma'at means the school. Sabah means education, or star, or gate, or door, and Ma'at means the divine order. Our word for going to school was going to the Sabah Ma'at, going into the teachings of the stars and of the divine law. This would be, in English, the first day of school of the temples. And we break this circle, this egg circle, into 10-day weeks. And we have a total of 36 weeks of 10 days. This is the Kemetic calendar from Africa, the Nile Valley calendar, where a week is not 7 but 10 days long. And each 10-day week, we cover a chapter from the Book of Ani, mistakenly called the Book of the Dead. It's the book of becoming enlightened. It's the book of how the Africans teach the world how to become enlightened. And this is the text in hieroglyphics from the actual tomb of Ani here with his robes and his wife here named Chuchu or Tutu. And we have a zoom up of the actual text that we see here. So this that's in hieroglyphs is repeated with transliteration here in English. And so today I'm going to open school and talk about this chapter and talk about how it applies to one in real life. So again, this marks the first day of school, which is January 4th, 2025. And every 10 days we do another plate. You see it says plate here, or chapter basically. And I will be offering these lessons throughout the year. I'm making this first one available to the public. And from here on out, the classes will be enrollment basis. And so we're going to go through each of these lines one by one and tell you what it means. So, Dwarra klift uben feim kut aptit intbit. I'm speaking the way it's written, not the way it's actually pronounced. I have another video, I think one before this one I released about a month ago, outlining how to actually pronounce Rinkam. and we're working that project through to give to the world. But let's go with this one now. So adoration of Ra, this means I adore my astrology chart. Ra is the sun, the energy of the sun. So it means I reach out here, reach out and touch the stars of my astrology sun chart. When it rises in the eastern horizon of heaven, this means to the students, which I speak to all the metaphysical students of the world, this chapter is saying your astrology chart is something which is sacred, something worthy of adoration, and it should rise into the mind. The east means rising into your life, into your awareness. So we look at our astrology chart as an initiation enlightenment tool worthy of adoration by raising it in our consciousness. Behold, Osar, let's do the English. Behold, Osar, the scribe of the holy offerings of the gods all, Ani. This is written for Ani, so he is called the God-man Osar, who comes as Ani. Saith Ani, homage to thee, meaning Ra, my astrology chart. I give homage to thee, O astrology chart mine, who comes as Kepera, who comes as my patterns, my life and psychological patterns, my karmic patterns as the creator of the gods. The gods mean my faculties, my states of mind. Okay, this is saying I'm going to revere my astrology chart as a sacred thing worthy of homage because it reveals my psychological and earthly patterns. And these patterns running in my chart create my faculties, create my reactions, create my states of mind. Next it says, O Kepera, my chart's patterns, you rise, you shine, making bright thy mother, which is the sky goddess, and you are crowned as king of the gods, doeth to the mother Nut with her two hands the act of worship. So, O my astrology chart and its patterns of my psyche, these patterns now rise into awareness. They shine in my mind, in my thoughts. They make bright thy mother, who is Nut. They make bright Nut, which is the metaphysical world or the noumenal mental world, your psychology. So when I lift my chart up and let it radiate its knowledge in my mind becomes bright. And my chart, I learn, is the king of my ways. It is the best way to learn how you tick. And Nut, which is the sky mother or your subconscious world, doeth to thee with her two hands the act of worship. But you see, the word worship has this man with two little waves on his hands, little energy waves. And this means once I embrace my chart with sacred reverie, my subconscious mind will worship me, worship my attempt to understand my psychology with her two hands. Her two hands refer to your inner life and outer life. You'll see how your inner psychological states and your your outer events talk. What's called synchronicity. We'll discuss more in a minute. Receiveth thee Manu with content, embraceth thee Ma'at at the double season. Okay, this means Manu here means, Manu here means the contemplative state of mind, the meditation state of mind. It means the part of the sky where the sun sets, the west. So it says, if I meditate on my charts, energies, the deities, the myths, if I really go into a meditative state of mind on them, I will find peace in how I tick. I will understand myself, contentment. And Ma'at will embrace me, the double seasons. Now, Ma'at is the goddess of the equations that run a system. She's the divine law. Some call the Dharma, some call the Tao. We call it Ma'at, divine law, and she means high level morality, high level moral integrity. You will learn when you meditate in Manu, the West, you take into the mental world, the meditation world, your astrology chart. The truth of your life will embrace you. At the double season means, you see there's two suns here, these two dots with a disc. The double season will be the winter solstice and the summer solstice, the two sun extreme points. May he, my chart, give splendor and power together with triumph. That means may the meditation on my astrology and its psychological patterns and my synchronicities bring me the light of wisdom. This word ku means the splendor of insight and power, the power to direct my karma, not be run over by my karma, together with triumph. Makeru means free of errors, one who is free of sin and free of errors, and a coming forth as a living soul. This word ba means soul, the human bird, but it refers to, may I come forth as my highest consciousness that is alive to me, meaning my highest consciousness has been awakened, enlightened. You see here the bird has a little bowl. I'll try to zoom in 1, 2, 3 times here. It's a little bowl with incense pellets and a little flame. That means I have released. Oops, what happened there? Let's go back. There we go. Okay. I have released the perfume and inhaled the energy of my higher self. Everyone has a higher self, but it's either awaking or living in your life, or it is sleep or dead to you. This is saying when you study your chart and you study the laws of Ma'at, of honor, integrity, and the equations that maintain the balance of your psychology of mental health, you will see how your soul, your highest consciousness, is guiding your evolutionary process in a perfumed way. Okay, living to see. Let's go back down 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page. Living to see Herukahuti, to the soul, or the Ka means the inner soul of the inner child of the man Ani, who's in Osar. Triumph before Osar. All this means is that when your higher self becomes awakened to you, you then detect its perfume filling your chart's events as a divine hand guiding you towards the light within. And Hiragohuti means, may I have the courage, he's a war god, may I have the courage to lift my reactions to life's challenges. He's the god of challenges. May I lift them to heroic levels of enlightenment at the two horizons, both by day and by night, meaning at all times. And this brings me to the Ka of Osar. Osar is your best and highest self, your purest self. The Ka of Osar means conscience, Kanusar is a phrase means conscience. So may I have a good conscience in going through my charts, karmas, and transits, the conscience of God conscience, that it's better for my God self that I fight at the two horizons, day and night, that I may become triumphant or true of voice before my very best self. So your chart's challenges are being brought to you to bring out your best self, your most integrated, self-actualized self. Next, number 6 here. Saith he, hail gods all of the Hetba, this is more the divine spirit temple. Ye weighers of heaven and earth in the balance, givers of food and abundance of meat. This means I look at my chart from the perspective of the high self temple, the Hetba, the soul temple. It's more the high self spirit temple. And I look at all of my charts psychology, or the Neteru, from the perspective of a universal consciousness. Hetba would be in your chart what's called the 4 universal signs of the archer, the goatfish, the water bearer, and the fish. Okay? And this higher mind, this Hetba means the house, that same Ba with the little incense burning. May my guiding higher consciousness in my charts gods or states of mind, which are the weighers of heaven and earth in the balance, meaning synchronicity. Synchronicity means there is a relationship between your external life events and your psychological state in relation to them. Okay? If you are a person who's very timid, psychologically timid, you'll keep attracting people wanting to be mean to you in the outer world. So your psychological temerity triggers in the collective unconscious of others to insult you, to force you to be bold. So synchronicity means my state of mind and the events that happen in my life are linked not causally, but symbolically, mythically, spiritually, metaphorically. And the higher divine self house brings you events of synchronicity so you learn a lesson of becoming better, becoming Osar, becoming your best. And when you learn the lesson of your life's events, why this is happening to me, what is the message from the Hetba, the divine mind, you will find that you receive that the lesson was a giver of food and abundance of meat, meaning a wonderful lesson indeed, very nourishing. Hail Tatunin, the One, maker of mankind and the substance of the gods of the south, northwest, and east. Tatunin means, hail Tatunin, hail my power to look at my chart and know I have certain hard wiring in the motherboard. The chart is like your psychological motherboard. It's how you're hardwired. But Tatunin is the part of you that can reprogram anything in yourself. It's hardwired if you don't know how to computer program, how to psychology program yourself. So hail my capacity, Tatunin, to reprogram to a better expression my karmas. Wa means there's only one energy in all things, one consciousness in all things. And that one consciousness wants you to be your best. And it is the maker of mankind and of the gods of the 4 directions. This means human beings, tememu, okay, are beings who are not bound by the dictates of the impulses of the chart. The chart can be bent. It cannot be changed, but it can be what I call up leveled, upgraded, going from low class steerage to first class expression of itself. And that humans have this power to make their charts perform at first class level through the gods or your states of mind in the north, south, east, and west of your chart, meaning the east is the rising sign descendant, the west is the descendant, and the south is the what's called the IC of the chart, and the MC is the north. I'm sorry, the north is the IC, and the south is the MC. Meaning all parts of my chart can be reprogrammed and upgraded, updated, upscaled because of the one consciousness that allows me to do this. It's called adaptability in nature. Tatunan means nature can adapt. He's the god of adaptability in nature. He can respond to its environment and develop new skills, download new programs from the cosmic mind. Moving on. Ascribe praise to Ra, the Lord of Heaven. This is an important sentence. It means, heaven means your mental state, your mental health. Okay? If you give respect and holiness to the study of your Ra, your chart, you become Lord of Heaven. You will become Lord of your mental health, Lord of your mind. Ra is the prince that gives life, strength, and health. Prince means an heir who deserves the best. When you treat your chart with reverence, you will be able to control, get a handle on your mental health, your heaven, your mind states, and realize that the universe thinks you're a prince or princess, one deserving of the best. And from that, you want to live more Ankh. That understanding gives you strength to carry on, and it brings health versus tension and suppression. And as the creator, when you praise your chart, you can see from a different perspective, an eye here, different perspective, your mental states of your chart, meaning your planets pretty much. It goes on to say, adore ye him in his beautiful presence in his rising in the Aded boat. Meaning, really enjoy seeing the beauty of your chart as a beginner. In arising, the Aded boat is the morning boat. And it has this glyph here of a loom shuttle, a weaving shuttle, which also in string theory is the exact drawing of what's called a complex string intersection. But it means that when you start to look at your chart and see the beauty of the good, the bad, and the ugly in your chart, you will start to make connections. You will weave connections as you study more and more this chart. Shall worship thee the beings of the heights, shall worship thee the beings of the depths, meaning the beings of the height mean if I study my charts as a psychology training, a spiritual psychology tool, I will start to realize that my mental states actually respect me because they're trying to evolve me. And those are the signs, the 12 signs, which are your needs, will actually bow to you. Your needs will start bowing in a constructive versus destructive way, and shall worship thee the beings of the depths, meaning your bad habits will also come under tow. You will see your good habits, and you will bow to you, and your bad habits will bow to you and become obedient to transformation. Write for thee Tehuti Ma'at every day. This Tehuti means getting oracles on your chart to help you understand it, getting readings on the chart. And Ma'at means moral ethics and understanding the Pa'ut, what I call the Pa'ut, which I have a video on, my Pa'ut video, which is the cosmology of the universe, the understanding of being and life itself. Ma'at also is the equations that run a system in a cooperatively harmonious way. Then it turns a little aggressive here. Thine enemy, meaning your chart's hard angles and the bad states of energy, the enemy, and it shows you as a snake. This is your animal impulses. That's the enemy. What's called the reptilian brain, the snake, reptile brain, snake brain. The snake brain low life responses in my chart shall be given to the fire of awareness and of doing rituals to the chart to burn out those bad habits. The evil one is the left brain. When your very left brain it is the origin of evil. When you keep separating and separating and separating and disconnecting things, the evil one, the left brain, has fallen under control. Okay, the enemy's arms are bound, meaning you cannot. I will no longer embrace bad habits, and they can't embrace me. Remove hath Ra his legs. The study of Ra, my chart, have removed my lower brain's reactions, movements, and motions in my life. They can't make a move on me. They can't be grounded in me. The sons of impotent revolt, Mesubadesh, never again shall they rise up, meaning by the study of my psychology through my chart and burning away my bad habits through what's like rituals, some called Kundalini rituals or meditation rituals or ceremonies. The sons of impotent revolt, these are my negative emotions, will never rise up and get me again. I will have mental peace, not mental illness and mental distress. Okay? Mesubadesh, impotent revolt means your emotions act all big and bad, but they're impotent. If you decide to control them, they will buckle. But because they scream so loudly and they're so dramatic, you think they're all powerful, omnipotent, and almighty. But actually, if you took a deep breath, held your breath for a few seconds, did a few meditations, they'd come right down and come right under control. Now, I'm saying mental health repeatedly, and many people suffer from mental health issues. And I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm saying that mental health challenges are tough. And I'm going in a direction as a high priest to help the world with mental health issues with love and kindness. And this text is saying there may be requirements for mental health needs that include medication, therapy, etc., etc., etc. We're completely open to that. There's another component that can be added to understanding and working with through mental health challenges, and that's through the worshipful, respectful, sacred approach to what we call your astropsychology chart. Looking at your chart as an astropsychology mandala. Next, we move on to the next part. The house of the prince, that's you. You are worthy of inheriting the best. So the house of the prince is in festival. You are happy and joyous, jubilant. The sound of those that rejoice is in the dwelling mighty. When you look at your chart as a way of understanding your mental states, your psychology, this is what's called the perihelion beginning of the Sban Ma'at, the first day of school. School in what? Know thyself. Know the truth of thyself. The Ma'at of the human psychology. When you study psychology, you learn actually I deserve the best. I should inherit the best things. And you hear and feel rejoicing in the act of self-understanding. The gods or my mental states rejoice when they see me studying my chart, when they see Ra is rising. The beams, the energy released from the study and activation of my chart through rituals and words of power, flood with light the three countries: my spiritual, emotional, and physical countries or states of mind. Okay? The advance of the majesty of this God of my charts, venerable. When I studied my chart as a psychology training, a divine psychology training, the chart advances towards being honorable, venerable. I learned that I am worthy of being venerated for trying to move myself into more advanced states of reaction and awareness. The chart arrives at the land of Manu, meditation. So basically, when he arrives at the land of Manu, when my study of my chart is taken into a state of delta brainwave meditation, the chart illumines my earthly events, all of my lives. Why do I keep dating this person? Why is it hard to make friends? Why do I have this illness? All the things on earth become illuminated with understanding because it's what I had in my chart at my birth. And if I do this every day, if I look at my chart's daily transits, that means every day, he arrives at his region of yesterday. The transits refer you back to your birth chart. That's the region of yesterday, the day I was born. Okay? The transits, which I also like to call releasings. Transits mean movements of the planets since your birth in relation to your birth as the ground reference point. Well, the transits of today relate to the chart of yesterday when I was born. Oh, my chart, may my chart and my psychology be at peace with me. May I have mental health and inner peace through the study of my astrology chart. May I see thy beauties. May I see the beauties of my mental development. May I advance psychologically upon the earth in my real life. May I smite the ass. May I destroy my stubborn negative ways. May I crush the evil one, the left brain dominance, that I'm disconnected, not part of something. May I destroy Apop, the reptile, primitive, beast, monstrous reactions at his transits, at his moment. May I not react like a savage, like a child, at the moments of my chart's transits. May I see the Abdu fish at his season of revolution and the Ant fish, and that's parts missing. These fish represent the left and right nostril breaths, meaning you should take the chart into like almost like a yoga breathing where you close one nostril, then you open the other one to clear the channels that guide the chart. It's called the left and right channel, the Ida Pingala. Okay. And may I see the Ant boat in its pool. Okay. Meaning its pool of energy, of breath. May I see the hero in me, Heru, the hero, Heru, as guardian of the rudder with Tehuti and Ma'at at its two sides. When I see my lessons in my chart, may I be a hero and let wisdom Tehuti, the oracle, and honor, integrity, sail me through these challenges as the guardian of the rudder, sailing me through. May divine wisdom from the oracle and may divine law guide me through the challenges I must face to become a hero to myself. May I grasp the bows of the Sektet boat and the stern of the Adet boat. These two boats, meaning the boat of Sektet is the boat of sinking in the west, the sunset boat, and Atet is the sunrise boat. Okay. May I study my chart. Sektet means going in the west. May I study my chart going into meditation or dreaming my chart. And Adet boat, what that weaving shuttle again means, And may I study my chart technically with my awakened brain, my more left brain. Sekta is more your right brain of dreaming, myth, vision, and inspiration. And Adet is more your left brain of technical understanding. What's a quincunx? What's a square? What is a sign? What is a house? Okay. May the chart grant me a view of the disk of the sun, Aten, or Achen, and the sight of the moon god without ceasing every day. This means, may I study my conscious and subconscious patterns. The sun is my conscious, the moon my subconscious. It also means, may I study in particular my sun signs and my moon signs, which are called the moon stars, the mansions of the moon, Ach, the god of the mansions of the moon, and the coming forth of my divine soul, my divine spirit, to walk about wherever it pleases. May my divine light be welcome to walk with me through any challenge I go through in the valley of challenges. I welcome and invite my divine spirit to walk with me at all times through all valleys of difficulties. May my name, the name means the motto of my destiny. Naming is a whole other class, how we do names in Kemet. But your divine name, which is only to be given to you through an oracle, even if your parents named you, you have a divine name that can only be revealed through the goddess Renenet, Tehuti, and Shai, and Meshkanet. But for now, I'll just say, may my name or my divine mission's tagline, when it's found upon the offering, the board of offering things, may there be placed for me offerings of food in the presence of the followers of heroes. Meaning, when people hear my name, may they give me hailings of offerings. May they say, what a great person that I was, because I was a hero in the valleys and challenges of my chart's transit. Some transits are rough. All events that happen to you, we say, are released through the heavens. Your chart transits control what issues you will encounter and what energies are going to be released in your aura and in your life experience. And the last line, may be made for me a seat in the boat on the day of going forth of the god. Meaning, may I, a seat in the boat, may I sail smoothly in the journey of bringing forth God in my chart. May that be a smooth journey of bringing out God, which means your best self, your purest self, through the chart's challenges. May I be received in the presence of Osar, my best and most divine self, in the land of integrity, of triumph. The Ka of Osar Ani, the conscience of God. In other words, may my best self, God in me, my best and purest self, receive me. May I see the presence of God, my best self, Osar, in my life's challenges, in my mental challenges, my mental talents, and may seeing that God's hand is guiding my psychology, guiding my life events to the land of triumph, victory. God's leading me to victory, not to torture and pain and suffering, but through those things to the land of victory, Ta in Makeru, through the conscience of, through my conscience, through having a strong conscience. Okay? So, the final part of this video is to make this text a bit more practical, and that'll be done through this aspects. I'm going to discuss very briefly aspects in your chart. Okay, so you see here we have circles, which is the chart, which are little charts. We have degrees of separation, and what that degree separation is called, 0 degree separation, basically is called a conjunction. If two planets are opposite each other, like this, it's called opposition. If they are 120 degrees from each other, they're called a trine. 90 degrees a square, sextile, so on and so forth. These are, and this fraction is what fraction of a circle must you divide to get that angle. Okay, if you divide a circle in half, you get the opposition. You divide into thirds, you get the trine. You divide into 4 parts, you get a square. You divide a chart into 6 parts. You see here a little hexagon dividing a circle into 6 parts. You get the sextile. You divide it into 1/8, you get a semi-square. If you draw an 8-sided figure, this little red tick here shows you where the semi-square is. If you divide it by 3/8, okay, you have this geometry in here plus this red line connecting the 3/8 angle. You divide the chart into 2/5 by drawing a star in a circle. And from this red point to this red point is 144 biquintile. Divided into 1/5, which is very powerful. The quintile and biquintile are very powerful. You divide a chart into 1/5 by drawing a pentagram of 5 sides. And where this line is shows the 2 points. See these 2 black marks, and the line connecting them shows the quintile angle. You divide to 12ths and 5/12ths, you get these other angles. Okay, so that's the geometry. What I'm doing, you recall in the text it said, may ma'at be with me, ma'at here. Oops. Ma'at, the goddess of math equations that run a system in a harmonious, cooperative way. Ma'at is where the word mathematics comes from. It's an African word. And I'm showing you here the literal geometric mathematical polygons of your psychology. Let's end by discussing what is an aspect. What is this link here? Oh, okay. So aspects are what you know as your inner dialogue, the voices talking in your head, the way you talk to yourself, your self-speech, are known as aspects in astrology. If you talk to yourself negatively about relationships, that means, and on this table here, whatever is in red, the conjunction, square, semi-square, sesquiquadrate, this inconjunct is negative, can be quite negative. So that should also be in red if I were to redo this. It's definitely negative. But those are called hard angles in red. When you have a hard angle between planets in your chart, or even signs and houses in your chart, that means you will tend to have a negative self-speak about those 2 planets. So let's say if you have Benosar, you know it's Venus, if it is opposing your Saturn, we call Harukapet. If you Benosar Venus opposing Harukapet Saturn, that's here. It's a red angle, meaning it's a hard angle. It's a negative self-speech. That means you think that you either have to let it rip and eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we die, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or you may think, I must be a nun, a monk, celibate. There's a real battle between pleasure and discipline, letting it go and being free and indulging, and being disciplined, austere, and serious. You think those 2 can't get along. You can't have both. So you will sometimes kill your libido, your sexuality, or your healthy pleasure, or you'll overindulge it and be wanton and carefree, careless. You see, you have a negative belief, what I call a pug, which means a pathological P for pathological, U for unconscious, and G for grim. You have a pug belief, a pathological, unconscious, grim belief about pleasure and the lack of it. So many of you think, oh, I have this negative state of mind. I'm always beating myself up. What I'm saying is if you look at your chart from just the aspects, nothing else, just the angles between two planets. We'll start with planets. It can also be between two signs and two houses. But the basic way to do it is what are the angular distances between any two or more planets? And are those angles hard, meaning I beat myself up about those two planets in my life? Planets mean states of mind. Or if they're green, or in this case, orange on the screen, I have a positive thought about those two things. So if you have Benosar Venus trine here, the green or the blue, that's the blue color. Any color but red is nice, positive. So if you have instead Benosar Venus trine Harukapet Saturn, that means I flow very easily between fun and responsibility. I can play in a smart way, and I can be very disciplined and get the job done. And that's so easy for me. In fact, I will whistle while I work. I will have fun while I'm serious. And I can be serious and sober while having fun. You see, there's a difference in how you talk, how you hear yourself talk about pleasure and discipline. In the trine, it's a very positive conversation. Oh, of course. You work hard, you play hard. No problem. Uh, when I'm having fun, I'm sober. I don't lose my wits. And when I'm serious, I'm not too heavy and too dowdy about it. I have fun while I work too. I can do both of those. The opposition says I can do none of those at the same time. It's either one or the other. This town is big enough for the two of us, says Benosar Venus and Harukapet Saturn. Your inner pleasure principle, Venus, and your inner achiever are at war in the opposition, but they are on the same team in the trine. So I wanted just to end by telling the world that a lot of what you think is just your negative thinking. Oh my God, I'm so beating myself up, when I've done this for many years. And when I talk to people about their hard angles, the one that is the most insidious is this one, the 5/12, the inconjunct, what's called the quincunx. That's the one that really messes you up, because it feels like you can't figure it out how to solve it. And it can bring a lot of puzzling problems and crisis and danger. But the crisis, danger, and problems seem absolutely unresolvable. And so they obsess you and they make you OCD. You are obsessive compulsive about those things, or you are paranoid and obsessed. And it may show up as a fear of these two planets, that they really kind of scare you. So you have a real obsessive, neurotic reaction to life events that have those two planets' energies in them. So, may you all enjoy this first introductory class that I'm giving to the world on the Kemetic first day of spiritual school, what I call astropsychology or psychological astronomy. I go over more throughout the 10 days. I send out more videos throughout the 10 days, as well as every 10 days we start a new chapter. So, for example, in 10 days' time from today, January 4th, perihelion, I'll go and read plate 2 and break it down. If any of you understand astrology at all, you want to look at your aspectarian grid. You can contact us at the link below, and you can contact us to send you your Kemetic astrology report and wheel. And you want to look at your aspects to see, do you have these hard aspects between important planets? All planets are important, actually. But if you look at your psychology this way, you will free yourself and you will find the beauty that the hard aspect is actually trying to solve itself in a ma'at, moral, courageous, and heroic way. There is a way for you to change how your mind's wiring its messaging to go from entropic, destructive self speak to an internal dialogue that's very optimistic, very strong, and very empowering. This is the function of Sabah and Ma'at, going to temple school. And may you learn how to control your self speak. And we do this by teaching you how to turn that angle from lemons to lemonade. The way you do it is through Ma'at and Tehuti. Tehuti is words of power, and Ma'at is laws. There's these affirmations or these divine laws of mental health, which are in my Pa'ut structure of the cosmogram of the golden beetle. With that, I wish to thank you all and wish you all the best 10 days of perihelion. Welcome to the first day of a Hogwarts, so to speak, of divine magical consciousness. That's a good way to maybe put this, that this is the first day of Hogwarts. It's more like a spiritual school than school, but it's African, of course. Uh, and in fact, I remember in the Harry Potter books, there were many African schools of magic. They're not talked about. But anyway, I digress on hopefully an interesting tangent for you Harry Potter fans. And with that, be well. And remember, in my world, it's all love. Duan Hotepu.